gentlemen, welcome to the best sports show in Kansas City. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW Radio, where sports come alive. Join your hosts, the awesome voice, and Coach 24 as they dive into the latest sports news, analysis, and excitement. From the biggest games to the most thrilling moments, they've got it all covered. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an hour of unbeatable sports action. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW Radio.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Weekend Eve. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW Radio. Coach 24, my brother with another mother, Darwin Penny, is out scouting for the Royals again, so I know he came into town last weekend on the Memorial Day weekend, so I left him alone so he could spend time with his lovely wife, so I didn't disturb him. So I figure he's back out on the road trying to find some outfielders, because the Royals definitely need some outfielders that at least can hit the ball outside the name of Jack Caglione. And running the show, the man behind the scenes, Mr. DJ Scatter, Mr. George Walker. Mr. Walker, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, I'm doing just fine this evening, and I hope we're having a great show.
Oh, absolutely. And I have a awesome guest. In fact, it's his birthday today. And he is what you would call the Rich Eisen of the Central Midwest Football League, Mr. Dimitri Colbert. Mr. Colbert, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great today. Thanks for having me on today.
Oh, absolutely. So I definitely appreciate it, because I know your time is very limited because you are so busy. But you said that you wanted to come in and come on the show. So I was excited. I was like, yes, absolutely. Now, you are the contributor, what you would say is a contributor. You're kind of like a Rich Eisen. You do everything. So kind of describe what you do for the Central Midwest Football League.
Well, it started about, I want to say, like 3 years ago. And we were just fed up with seeing like certain polls would come out, where rankings would come out. And you look at the polls, you'd be like, these people are not watching the games. They're not. And me and my partner, Coach JB, Coach John Brown, we decided to put together our rankings list and start to just pop out at the games and give people a real live analysis. And it kind of just caught fire. And we've been doing it for like the last 3 years. Very excited to be doing it in this capacity, particularly this season. We concentrating just strictly on the CMFL this year, and it's been dope. I can't even lie.
And there are other leagues around.
Yeah.
But how do you rate the CMFL in comparison to some of those other leagues?
I think CMFL personally, and people might say, "Oh, he's biased." No, I'm not biased. But as far as being organized and the amount of teams, the amount of talent, things like that, it's easily top 5 in the country. So if you go and look, to me personally, and now I'm saying this is somebody who knows about all the leagues all across the country. This is a very organized league. Got a nice as far as longevity, as far as with the teams and the ownership, the history with some of these teams. Some of these teams in this league have been around for more than 20 years, and at this particular level of football, that's kind of hard to do. We see teams come and go, so you got a lot of historical teams here, and as I say, like as far as somebody who talks with everybody within the league, there's a lot of good things going in this league, and I feel like it's only going to continue to get better.
Oh, absolutely, and I enjoy it too. I enjoy you going down on the fields. You a lot of times will, how like NFL Networks did the or NFL did the Steve Sabo.
Yeah,
he does. You kind of do that too. You kind of go around, like if the guys are grouped together, have their little saying just before either the start of the game or at the end of the game, or even at halftime. You kind of have your camera in there, and
well, I've been around semi-pro football since I've been like 18 years old, and I figure with these guys, at least as far as my personal contribution, like if you see any of my pages, like the Coach C show page or the Semi-Pro Game Day page, you really will not see my face because it's not about me. It's about the people I cover. That's the players, the coaches, the owners. And I've always just approached it from the standpoint of I want to be able to give these guys an experience and pretty much celebrate the hard work that they put in, because at this level, these guys, there's some dope things that happen at this level that it should get far more coverage than what it really does. So that's really what my platform is about.
Yes, I totally agree with that, because like I am with the Panthers, so I've been with the Panthers for over 20 years. So that should tell you how long they've been around. And Jimmy Ross does a phenomenal job. I know I've heard of people, saying, "Oh, well, they could do this better, they could do that better." It's like, you know what? So can the NFL, so can the NBA. And these guys don't get paid. Jimmy does not get paid for what he does. In fact, he gives out a lot of money to the stadiums because we don't. It's not like we have Arrowhead Stadium or something like that.
A lot of people do not realize how much money it costs to put on a football game. Just one football game. We're not even talking about the season, just one football game. The amount of effort, time, and energy that it takes to even make this happen. And so when you got the owners and the coaches, the people who are behind the scenes who are making this stuff happen, you got to be grateful for these people because they're giving these young men a platform. And sometimes some people could parlay this platform into something bigger, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, everybody has a job, has a regular employment that they go to every day.
Well,
whether it's 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, or for like me Tuesday through Saturday, which makes it even harder for me because I work on Saturdays and then I try to make it out to the games so I can announce all the home games.
Don't feel bad. Somebody like myself, I work overnight, and like I literally go to work at 7 o'clock at night. I don't get off sometimes to 7, 8 in the morning. And, I get up every weekend. This is my season, from like, I would say from late February to August. I love this time of year, semi-pro season. And so I arrange my schedule and just try to make it happen so I get out there for the guys and be out there for the guys,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to try to pimp them as much as possible, give them a credit. Now, there was a couple of players, Keyshawn Garrett and Tenacious Purifoy.
Mm-hmm.
They got an opportunity to go to the St.
Go to
Joseph
St. Joe
Goats.
Goats, yeah.
Now isn't that a job where you could possibly get paid for? Isn't that arena?
They get paid in the Arena League. They make
Yeah.
money. I'd be glad when they come out with the roster. I'm curious to see who all made that final roster. But shout out to St. Joe Goats head coach Dorsey Goldston, one of the all-time Kansas City greats in every level of football, high school, college, semi-pro. You can't mention football without mentioning Dorsey Goldston. And Dorsey Goldston put together an amazing roster with the St. Joe Goats. And Keyshawn Garrett, one of the best safeties. I hate to see him go.
Oh,
but,
I did too. I
God.
did too. Because
Him and Tenacious is a baller. He is raw.
Yeah.
And but I'm not mad at that. Get these guys an opportunity to play at a bigger stage and to get some compensation for this stuff.
Absolutely. And here's the thing: I'm going to get Dorsey on the show within the next few weeks. So I've got to get a hold of him. But we have already discussed it. We've already discussed them coming. And if I can get him on there, I will bring Tenacious and Keyshawn on the show too, because Keyshawn has been on there before. Tenacious hasn't. But I do these shows. So first I was just doing it to announce football, sports and all that. And, and I had Coach 24 with me, everything else. And, we talk about sports and everything else. And this year I've made it more about the Kansas City Panthers. Now, had there been other teams close by that they could come in on the show, I would have invited them on the show too. But to give those guys, I mean, Christian Young, who's just announcing, he just said,
Shout out the Red Velvet Christian Young. What's going on, baby?
Yep, and he says, listening to the goats talk. So I appreciate the kind words, sir. But, it gives them an identity. It says, okay, yeah, I know Christian. Yeah, I know.
I would think that Christian Young is a nationwide household name at this point. We've been covering Christian Young going back to season 1 of Semi-Pro Game Day, back when he was with the North Kansas City Knights, and he was just always just balling. He's 6'5", 265, just built like a brick, moves like a cat, and it's awesome because he's actually one of the people that got me really getting down with the Panthers a lot this year. He reached out to me. It's like, oh, come check us out. And the thing that what Coach Jimmy Ross has put together, shout out to Coach Jimmy Ross, by the way, the legend. And the things they put together this year with this particular Kansas City Panthers team, like a lot of people, they know, but they don't know. And they're not going to know until it's too late. And you line up on the field with these guys, they have lines of scrimmage. They probably have as a top 3 lines of scrimmage as far as that offensive line is in the running for the best offensive line in the league. If you go out and watch it, then they don't know about one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Julius Sebastiano. Yeah. Like I be telling y'all, this is the dude, and they have so many weapons everywhere. It's like they got too much squad at this point. Just to be honest with you, the Panthers this year is what we all envisioned what Kansas City semi-pro football could be, because everybody who's a dude almost, there's maybe about 5 or 6 guys missing, but everybody else who's really a dude is on this team this year. So that's why you see they're 7-0, Panthers and 4.
Yep, absolutely. So, and they are rocking it, and they have I know the last couple of seasons they have struggled. They've had, whether it was internal issues or just on the field issues or whatever, they just struggled. But this year, they finally got it together, and they have a great shot. Now, there's a lot of great teams that they've got to go through.
They have the Real McGilla next week against the St. Louis Falcons, who is shout out to Lucky Moore and Austin Wright. They put together a hell of a roster this year, and they got everything. And I will say, I remember talking to them last year. They do everything right. And this program, at least what they're building, is going to be something that's going to be similar to how the Panthers is going to be around for a long time. It's not going nowhere.
Right.
And they're serving their community. They sending boys off to college. They have I remember talking to their GM, Austin Wright. He said they got a roster of like 70 guys, and they switch them out because, at this level, people got to work, injuries, things like that. So they constructed a great roster this year, and I think they're going places this year. I swear they are.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and so actually the Falcons, the next 2 weeks will kind of determine where they're at. And I know they got to finish the season, but they're already undefeated. They're tied with the Panthers. They technically have them in first place and the Panthers in second place, but they are tied for first place. And they played the Missouri Cyclones, who their only loss was to the Panthers in a really it was a defensive battle, and then they got to turn around and play the Kansas City Panthers. So, I mean, these next 2 weeks are going to determine their fate, and then the Panthers in 2 weeks are going to kind of determine their fate too, because, they are playing, after them, they kind of, and I don't want to downgrade any team whatsoever.
Oh, don't sleep on. Okay, so the back half of the Panthers schedule, just be looking at it like, they already climbed the Cyclones mountain, so to speak,
right.
And the Cyclones have owned the gateway side of the CMFL forever.
Right. Well, they were in the championship last year.
Forever, they've just owned it. But this year, it's a whole new thing. And these next 2 weeks, I wrote an article to drop this week. I'll come with this week, Separation Saturday, and this is a giant week, and I'm not going to front. This week is huge for the Falcons for their program as far as what's going to happen within the league as far as playoff seeding and as far as perception. They need to win this weekend. They need to get that monkey off their back this weekend. And if there's ever was a team to do it, this is the team that could possibly do it right here. They're loaded. If you haven't seen the St. Louis Falcons play, just watch them. They got everything. Everything. They're loaded.
And and the sad thing is Kansas City will not be able to watch them unless you see it on TV. Somehow we've got it live streamed or get it through us because they do not come to Kansas City. Kansas City goes to St. Louis. And the Cyclones are in St. Louis too. So that's virtually a home game out there.
Yeah.
So, but those guys are really – those top three are really going. But now the East Central Missouri Eagles, they are the fourth place. They're 2-2. So if somehow they can, they
got a tough out this weekend too. They play against the Columbia Vipers, and we got to keep in mind the Panthers barely made it out of Columbia. Columbia's no joke. Don't let the record fool you. That team last year was the second seed in the Gateway going into the playoffs. So they had a great year last year, and they had a few losses as far as personnel, but that's still a good football team down there in Columbia. And they will come out, hit you in the mouth. I mean, we all seen it. We seen it firsthand.
Uh-huh.
And, that game between the Eagles. Now, the Eagles, we saw them. I mean, they just ran into a buzzsaw. Didn't travel well, but ran into a buzzsaw when it came down to Kansas City. But when I watched them last week versus the Punishers, completely different looking team. So I'm hoping to see more of that team this weekend compared to the team we saw in Kansas City who flashed but couldn't punch it in. But that team last week, they look nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm here with Dimitri Colbert. He is I want to call him just the contributor of the CMFL. He does a lot of stuff for the league. And if they want to see your article that you have printed out, how do you get it?
You got a lot of you guys know me as Coach C on the MIC. Go ahead and check out the Coach C Show on Facebook as well as Semi-Pro Game Day on Facebook. Check us out. We got tons of content in regards. We've been going all the way in on the CMFL this year. We got everything. So don't hesitate to come check us out. We got a lot of good things going on this year.
Yeah, I have to use my glasses because I've got my friend Cardis Rogers.
Don't rule out the Ruskin Eagle. Hey, the Rus. If we were to talk about high school football, Ruskin always got dudes, but
well, he went to Ruskin, and they couldn't beat Grandview at that time.
Grandview?
Yep, absolutely. So he has to always give me a hard time, which is great because I love it. But the Ruskin Eagles, oh my goodness.
Ruskin always got like some dudes. Like I remember seeing this group that I think they're going to be seniors this year. They were real good last year. I remember seeing this exact group as freshmen. They took their lumps, but they had size, speed. But they played a varsity. They played varsity as freshmen. It was probably like about 25, 23 freshman kids out there playing against grown men pretty much. And they did their thing. Shout out to Ruskin High, man. Great things going on over there.
Absolutely. So, and Cardis went to school. This is going to show my age. You were born 5 days after I graduated high school. So you're a youngster.
We don't use the old word. We prefer the term experienced.
I'm experienced.
There we go. Seasoned.
Yes, I know. And you can tell by the growth in my head.
Don't feel bad. I'll be there eventually. I'm not tripping, though. I'm looking forward to becoming a Silver Fox.
Oh, my gosh, yes. I have that. And I would have spots, and now it's just all gray. So
what was it, red before? Or what was it?
It does have some red. My dad's sister, her name was Goldie because the fact she had red hair. So they had red in his family. So I had a little bit of red. Now my hair was brown, but when I was an infant, I was a towhead.
Oh, so you got some red velvet in you too?
Yeah,
right
I do.
Right on, brother.
I do.
My ginger.
I do until I got experience. And now I am I am all gray. So, what does he say now?
Had a 4th-round NFL draft pick. What team? You got to list it there.
Well, there was a guy named Steve Vandergriff that played with him at Ruskin, and he ended up playing at Missouri. So
there's a lot of crazy talent out here. I mean, every time I go to like a high school game, I'll see like a physical freak. There's a lot of talent out here in the KC metro area on both sides, Missouri side and Kansas side, and it's a shame that they don't get as much. It's not as publicized as it should be, because there's some real talent out here, and like even going to the other side of the state in St. Louis, it's crazy talent out here. And I'm saying this as a person from California. You know what I'm saying? Elite football. There's some guys out here who could really play anywhere in the country.
Yeah, and the problem is that we're always up against St. Louis. So our Kansas City area, we rarely get guys that go to Missouri. Now, they go to Kansas.
I mean, it's KU's right there, though. Do you blame them? Do you blame them?
Yeah, but Missouri doesn't recruit them. That's the problem.
Missouri's like all the way over there. I mean, it's in the middle of the state technically, so it's in Columbia, so it's right smack dab in the middle of the state. So you should be.
Ezekiel Elliott was from St. Louis. He went up to Ohio State.
Shout out to the Buckeyes. That's my favorite.
Oh
team.
Man,
love
is that your team? Is that your team?
That's
Well, then you're very happy this year.
I'm not gonna front. Ezekiel Elliott, was like one of my favorite players of all time. I love Zeke, especially when he that run he had. I want to say his sophomore year and playoffs when Ohio State won it in 2014.
I remember. I remember that. Yeah,
200s.
And that was the last time that they won the national title until this year.
Yep.
And so he ran track, and there was a guy from Grandview who beat him in the 110 high hurdles. So
Grandview always has some guys. I believe was that year Josh Freeman played quarterback for Grandview. They had that Grandview team was loaded, and my nephews played for Grandview these last few years, and like I said, they always have talent there.
Well,
always have talent.
When Josh Freeman played, it was kind of like the Chiefs from 2018. They scored a ton of points, but they gave up more points than they scored.
Oh, you love a shootout. Nothing wrong with a shootout.
No, there's nothing wrong, but I wanted Grandview on the winning side more often than not. So
did they win it all that year? I want to say, or they got pretty close.
No, they never got. They've only been to the semifinals, where they lost to Jeff City, and that was in 1984.
But they have some of these. That's one thing about out here I noticed, because like I said, I'm still getting familiarizing myself with the teams in the area out here. And once you get out of playing people within the city, there's some big country teams out here that will put it on you. It's hold on now.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't read anything else.
Ariante, Easley, actual 48 second round pick.
Oh, 48th pick in the second round by the Texans. Yeah.
He's a dude.
Well, thank you for all that information, Curtis. I greatly appreciate that. So, yeah, but, and that's what makes this so great, because you have, these guys that they given a chance, to play and take an opportunity. Keyshawn and Tenacious took that advantage and got at least got an opportunity. I mean, I had a tryout with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I didn't do well, but I had the opportunity for somebody to tell me that knew baseball that I wasn't good enough, instead of going, I wish.
Right, you'll never know. You could live with that,
Right?
Because there's some guys out here. I think about just in this local Kansas City area, guys who's got that opportunity. Shout out to Savion Butner of the Kansas City Bulldogs, Austin White of the St. Joe Bucks. Cannon from the St. Joe Bucks. There's a few guys who've gotten opportunities to go over to this Arena League, and hopefully it leads to something more.
Right, absolutely. And Arena League is completely different than 11-man football, outdoor football. But come out to a what Coach Webb says, adult amateur football,
Yeah.
But come out to see this semi-pro, amateur, adult football, and when the goats comes go see them. Go
Those
see
games
them.
are, if you haven't checked out the Arena League, I highly suggest you guys one of those random Saturdays. It's on YouTube. I think they're going to be playing games on Alan Hilliard Sports, so as well as the Arena League page on YouTube. They're on all your major social media platforms. Check them out. It's very entertaining. If you like offense, people running around and throwing touchdowns and great moves, spins, jukes, and things like that, you're going to love Arena League football.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I know the NFL is getting prepared to start their next season, but when you don't have football and the UFL, whatever it's called,
It's cool, but I don't think nobody watch it. If you ask me, like whenever we turn it on in my house, it just be on in the background. We
Right.
And everything else is just like, okay, well, there's some football on, so
Right.
I'll be waiting for.
it's just a noisemaker. So,
Right.
And then who do we got there? So,
That's my man, Junie Jones Jr. Junie Jones Jr. be on my tail. I swear he do.
hey,
Yeah, he be on my tail. That's one of our guys.
That's all right, man.
I
I'm
believe
glad
he's with the Wichita Skyhawks, who's one of the great teams out of the CMFL. They have a nasty defense this year, man. They got a game this weekend, though. They got a game versus the St. Joe Bucks this weekend. That is huge as far as for playoff seeding in the CMFL on the Great Plains side. There's a lot of awesome games this weekend.
Oh,
Shout
and
out to Dwayne
absolutely.
Jones.
And we haven't talked about the Great Plains side. You've got the Joplin Crusaders, who are the defending champs.
Yeah.
You have the Oklahoma Bears, who were favorite last
Now,
year.
The Bears right now, they got the best win in the season. They beat a team early February, the South Texas Panthers, who's currently 9-1 in the MOFA. It's a league down in Texas, and they're probably going to win the MOFA, and they got the best win on the year, and the Bears are just loaded. Shout out to Coach Thanos, Kevin Cox. Shout out to Kevin Cox, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I'm going out there to see them this week. Actually, tomorrow I'm going out to OKC and go watch that game.
Is it the Crusaders and the Bears?
No, it's the Bears versus the
Gators.
Gators. And
Yes.
the Gators, now, I watched the Gators versus the Bucks this year, and the Gators look good.
Yeah.
The Gators got two guys this year. Sam Johnson, the quarterback, he's like Vic, but just nasty. And then they got this receiver, Dylan Chin. It's his first year in the league. Mm-hmm. He pretty much just light-skinned Randy Moss. That's what that is. You just gotta see it.
Yeah.
You gotta see it in person. Like I highly recommend, if you're not doing nothing, come out and check these games out, because you're gonna see some stuff. Especially if you enjoy football. These guys are big, strong, and fast, and high quality coaching. This game this weekend, the Sooner State Showdown, the rivalry game, is good. I'm coming all the way from Kansas City to come see that game.
Yeah, they actually say it's the Oklahoma Bears versus the Oklahoma Gators, but I don't call them Oklahoma. I call them Tulsa.
No,
Tulsa.
it's their name.
Right.
They haven't updated their Facebook page. I don't think so.
Right. So it's Tulsa Gators versus the Oklahoma Bears.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be a great game. And so the next few weeks we have. It will start to open up on the seeding part and the playoffs, because you got 4 teams from I believe it's from each division that will be put in the playoffs, and then it'll be 3 weeks of playoffs or 2 weeks of playoffs, and then the championship game. And I believe the championship game, he did say, would be August 2nd.
Yes, August 2nd. Yeah, that's been confirmed. That's been confirmed.
So we just need to find a place so we can get planned and head on down there.
So I hear it's going to be 3 places. 3 places I've been hearing. Now, don't quote me on this now, but just from my sources say it's either going to be, I've heard, Waynesville, Missouri, where they got an excellent facility out there in Waynesville, Missouri.
Now, where is Waynesville?
It's I want to say it's somewhere south. It's like on the southeastern side of Missouri. So somewhere over there.
So in other words, down south
St. Louis and like this, you know what I'm saying? And I heard Joplin may be a site. Joplin might be the site.
Oh,
and
that's
then
right. St. Louis. I'm thinking west. Sorry.
they go right. That's all
Uh-huh.
good. It's late in the day. Everybody's
Yeah.
brains fried. And then the third site I heard was that Greenville, Arkansas, home of the Arkansas Warcats. Shout out to Wayne Hall and the Warcats, man. They're building a great program down there. It's a beautiful stadium. Everything I've seen, I haven't been there, but as far as the photos, the videos I've seen, it looks like it's an amazing facility, and everybody says it's beautiful out there. So.
Oh man, that is awesome. So, yeah, we got three places, and hopefully by the end of this weekend or the beginning of next week, or at least by the time I do my show next Thursday, we will have a definite site.
We looking for it. Trust me, I'm thinking hopefully Chris Dotson of Southern Sports, he knows a little more or something. He be getting all the good juicy nuggets. Shout out to Chris Dotson, man.
Right, but I did ask Jimmy Ross, who would know it better.
Jimmy would know. He should
he'd know it better than anybody, and he just said, nope, I don't know. And I'm like, man, how well would that have been?
We need to ask Zach. Zach be the missing man. The other commissioner in the CMFL, Zach Dabney, I believe. And we need to ask him because Zach be knowing. I'm thinking the information that Jimmy don't have. I'm pretty sure Zach has it. So
yeah, definitely. So we are at halftime on Any Given Sunday on KUAW. I'm here with Dimitri Colbert. I've got Mr. George Walker running the show. I've got Coach 24 Darwin Penny, because he's invisible, so I don't see him. So,
right.
and I am the awesome voice. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. We will talk a little bit more of semi-pro football, and then we may get into even other subjects, like New York is in huge trouble. back for the second. All right, we're back for the second half of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. Coach 24, he's out scouting. DJ Scatter running our show. We got Dimitri Colbert.
Coach C on the MIC.
Ooh.
How y'all doing?
There you go. And I am the awesome voice. So we were talking a little bit about O.J. Simpson. Now I know that on my live feed you guys saw that, but if you watching this on YouTube or any other venue, you didn't see our conversation. So we were talking a little bit about O.J. Simpson and the New York Knicks, because the New York Knicks are in massive trouble. They have the worst home or road record in the NBA playoffs this year at 2-6. I mean, you virtually have every stat, and you guys know me as a stat guy. They're 0-14 when they lose the first two games. They have never won a series when they have lost the first two games at home. In fact, I think what it is, it's like 1-17 for teams. Excuse me, 1-17 for teams that lost the first two games at home to win the series, and then the Pacers are 9-0 when they had won the first two games. They are 14-1 when they are, they are 9-0 also when they are up 3-1. So I mean, they have everything against them. So if New York needs to is even going to have a shot at winning this, they need to do it like
They better
yesterday.
stop Halliburton. Halliburton's like averaging like a triple-double like almost every game.
Well, he's
in
had
the
30
series.
points his last three games, and is averaging, I think it was like 25
It's
points.
been like a triple-double like the last few games he done had. Like, yeah, y'all got to stop Halliburton. Y'all got to stop that guy.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And the one game that I saw, which was the loss, they were up 20 points, and then they blew the lead. And then all of a sudden New York knew to shut him down because they tried to get him the ball, and they couldn't get him the ball, and he couldn't make any shots, and nobody else could hit a shot. They were bricklaying like there was nobody's business. So
I'm not going to front, regardless of what happens with the New York Knicks, just as a fan of the game, I'm just glad to see they're playing at this point
Right.
in the finals, because for a long time the Knicks have been bad. I mean, the other year when they made the playoffs, I turned on the playoffs like, oh, look at the Knicks.
Yep.
The Knicks are back. What
Uh-huh.
And I'm saying this as a person who used to I used to be a huge Alonzo Mourning fan.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
When he was with the Heat, the Knicks would always come with the HC, the Heat kicking butt all year long, first seed, and here come the Knicks in Allen Houston, or as we call him, the Fan, because he was the Heat killer, and just knocked the Heat out every time. So just like I can't stand the Knicks, but at the same time I respect the history and just everything about the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they've got the best venue.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
that
historic
is
venue.
that
Historic.
is a historic. I remember one time where Meadowlark Lemon was up in the rafters. I believe where the where Shaquille and the TNT group is up, and he was way up there and took a shot from way up, and he almost made the basket.
Ridiculous.
For the Harlem Globetrotters, and people were booing him. I was like, what? I mean, he. It was
those
like
New Yorkers,
40
that's
it
where
was
the
40
Apollo's at.
stories
That's a tough
high,
crowd every
and he
time.
almost. I know it was a tough crowd, but it's also a fanatic crowd, and they say, they've had football, they've won championships, they've had baseball. Obviously the Yankees and the Mets have been in the World Series. But they say that it is a basketball town, and the last time that they were even in the Eastern Conference Final was in 2000, and then before that they made it to the finals in '94.
Yeah, with Patrick Ewing and them, yeah.
With Patrick Ewing and John Starks,
yeah.
and Charles Oakley.
Don't they call the Madison Square Garden the Mecca of basketball or something like that?
Yes, absolutely, because it was also the one in 1970 where Willis Reed went limping into the locker room and then came back out and beat the Lakers for their championship in 1970. So, but the bad thing about '94 was they had the series in Houston without Michael Jordan, so they beat the New York Knicks in a series where the biggest story was the Bronco ride by O.J. Simpson with Al Cowings driving him all through California.
The juice on the loose.
Yeah, and so we were talking a little bit about it. You know, he knows how he played and everything else, but you never got to watch him. I got to watch him, and he was phenomenal. And so the kids today, all they see is a murderer. That's all they see. They didn't see what great player he was. I mean, he was phenomenal at USC, and I mean, I was an infant when he was at USC, but once he started playing for Buffalo, I was 6, 7 years old, and I could watch him, and he was great. And I remember when he got the 2,000 yards, the first man NFL running back to get 2,000 yards in a season, and he's still the only player to do it in 14 games. Now, Eric Dickerson did it in 15 in '83, but everybody else, it
doesn't hit the same.
games or
It doesn't
more.
hit the same nowadays because you got way more games, and and there's no hate on like someone like Saquon Barkley who had an amazing year last year, but it's like it's not the same game.
No.
And for them to rush for 2,000 yards in that era of football, pretty much where it's ground and pound football, is hats off.
Right, and he was playing against Pittsburgh Steelers defense and Oakland Raiders defense and Miami Dolphins defense. I mean, they were in the same divisions, so they played Miami twice a year. So, I mean, and it was just how it was. You knew that they were going to grind it up. The passing game really didn't start going until the late 70s, early 80s when Eric Coryell and San Diego Chargers with Kellen Winslow, a Mizzou grad.
Right.
So, started lighting it up. And then that's when Dan Fouts became a football superstar at that point. So, I mean, it was just, how it was. But, O.J. Simpson, I know that the downside of his life was not as great, but man, when he was at his best, there was nobody better. So,
not to hate on O.J. Simpson, nothing like that, but somebody like us 80s babies and stuff like that, he was the guy on TV doing the commentating for the games, and we knew him from the Naked Gun. That's what it was.
I still remember him bouncing in that wheelchair.
Right.
He did a 2.5 gainer.
He had excellent comedic timing.
Excellent. He was. So I mean, it was just awesome. So for somebody like that to do what he did, it was heartbreaking. And I mean, these kids were like, yeah, whatever. But you get a guy that you enamored and wanted to be like, and then all of a sudden he changed the perception with one action, and so you just go, oh my goodness, I just can't believe that. So
we're doing killing two birds with one stone.
We're killing two birds with one stone. So
right.
So you got to get in there, because if it's all me.
Oh no, I'm gonna use some of this and some of that.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you use all of me, that may break your camera.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm excellent at video editing, so I'm gonna make you look good at all times.
So you'll delete me out.
Oh no, you're gonna be fine. You're fine. They might not be surprised when you come to the game, Brian. No, stop.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. So anyway, we're having a great time. I'm here with Dimitri Colbert, the contributor to the CMFL.
Coach C on the MIC.
Yep, absolutely. So listen to him. Get him on Facebook. Get him wherever you can get him at. So I mean, he is the man with the info. I'm telling you what. So I was just listening to him, shouting out to everybody.
Anything, all CMFL, heck, anything semi-pro in general, if I don't know it, I can point you in the right direction and get you going. We're just trying to uplift and show some love to the owners, players, the coaches at this level and showcase their awesome abilities and just highlight them, how they impact our communities and the things they do for our communities and for our young men out here playing the game that we all love.
Absolutely. And when the Panthers play, and I believe it's going to be June 14th, they are going to have a game, and they're been wanting to get the Special Olympics because they are organizing with the Special Olympics and trying to get a event going during the game. And I believe we are playing like the
Kansas Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Kansas Diamondbacks. So, and I'm not sure where the venue is, but I will keep you in touch where the venue will be at. But wherever it is, I've heard it tentatively it would
I think it's going to be at Raytown South.
I heard it was Belton. So,
that's no information right there to me. That's new to me. Okay, right on.
So, it could be Raytown, it could be Belton. Hopefully, it'll be at Raytown High School if it is.
I prefer to be at Raytown. You get more of the fan turnout. Like I think about the fan turnout we have for the game versus St. Joe Bucks. That was amazing. That's pretty amazing. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, so the Special Olympics are going to be coming out. I will let you guys know more about it. Or if he finds out about it, go through him.
Yeah, just if I find out anything about it, I'll be sure to post about it. Don't hesitate to contact me. Hit me up at the Coach C Show, or you can hit me up directly at Dimitri Colbert on Facebook. Just hit me up.
Absolutely. So, so we've been talking football. Central Missouri or Central, and I knew I was gonna
take to Central Midwest
Football League. So, so we've been talking about them. So we've been talking a little basketball. We talked about OKC is in the finals for the first time. Oh no, they did make it.
No, they made it. They lost to the Heat in what was that 2012?
Right, but before that, the last time was when they were the Seattle Supersonics.
That's my wife's favorite team, so I never hear the end of it.
Of Seattle?
She's a Thunder fan.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just hardcore about it. Just so hardcore about it.
Absolutely. So
shout out to my wife. I love you, baby.
Yeah, she is awesome, man. I've met her, and she is an amazing woman. So shout out to you, young lady. So, but you've got the Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. I imagine the Indiana Pacers are going to finish them tonight. I have no doubt about it. So there will be Indiana and the OKC. Who do you think is the favorite?
I mean, at this point right now, it just feels like it's the Thunder's time. SGA is, the MVP. He's been having a great year, and I'm saying this as a person who watched a lot of Thunder basketball. When they want to put it on you, there's nothing you can do about it. They're long, they're fast, they play great defense, and they will run you out of the gym once they get going. And they got multiple guys who can just kill you. So, and like if you watch Thunder games, it's not always SGA doing all the work. They have a lot of guys. What is the guy's name? I watched a lot of the games. I don't know their names, okay? Right. I'll be doing other stuff. But the Thunder, that they seem like a team of destiny this year. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, they're going to have to work against the Pacers. The Pacers look good too, right. But I just don't think they got. It's not going to be enough firepower to deal with Thunder.
Well, and here's a good thing. If you ever wanted to go to an NBA Finals game, this is probably the best chance because Oklahoma City is closer than Denver.
You know how much those tickets are cost? I'm not one of those people. If you're going to go to a game, we're going to go to the game. Mm-hmm. We're going to be down there, I believe in, what is that, row 16 and below. Okay, that's what I believe. Like, if you catch me at a Chiefs game, I refuse to be higher than that. I'm going to be somewhere close down there because I refuse to do it. I want to see the sweat drip off their neck. That's what I want to see. I'm one of those. And so I was looking. Like I said, I got people from all over the CMFL on my page. So we got people from OKC on the page, and they were talking about the tickets. They said like the floor size seats for one ticket, $24,000.
Oh my gosh.
$24,000.
Oh my
I can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Well, somebody is shouting out to you.
Oh, that's my
Is
wife
that
right there. That's my wife right there.
There you are.
Thunder up. Yeah, she hardcore.
Yep.
She probably got her Thunder stuff on tonight.
Yep. Absolutely. She probably is. And there's no game probably until
no,
Saturday.
because I noticed when she don't wear her Thunder stuff, they lose. So I tell her just rotate the shirts. Just keep it going. Keep it going.
Absolutely. So, talking about basketball and the WNBA, Caitlin Clark. Well, here I want to ask you a question about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. What do you think of their relationship on the court?
I think it's good for the game. I think it's good for the game of basketball. I mean, it's going all the way back to college, and and this is like no knock on Angel Reese, because Angel Reese is a great player in her own right, but she not the female Jordan. That's female Jordan right there. Let's call it what it is.
Right.
You can't stop Caitlin Clark. She just didn't have the pieces around her. They probably could, if you put Angel Reese, if you were to switch Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, if Caitlin Clark played for LSU and vice versa, it's probably completely two different situations going on.
Right.
And no, shout out to both of those teams. They both made women's basketball. To be honest with you, I've watched women's basketball more than I watched the men's, at least at the collegiate level, for the last few years. And Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese played a huge part in that, because they were just exciting and entertaining to watch.
Oh, I truly believe that. I believe the players, not necessarily they're better than men, but saying that, the women was more exciting. They had more star power than they did in college basketball. I mean, I used to could tell you the whole roster of the Missouri Tigers and any team that they played.
It used to be like that, and then men's basketball is just like taking, not saying that there isn't the same athletic things going on or nothing like that, but since NIL really started, it doesn't hit the same. Versus with the women's basketball, like you could turn on the men's game, it seemed kind of dry. It's just like, okay, all right, what are we doing here? You turn on a women's game, like on a Sunday, it's live, it's packed.
Yep.
Especially if you're like my team that we watched this year, who I really enjoyed, was Juju Watkins from USC. Shout out to Juju Watkins, man. I hate that she got hurt. But
I do a podcast on the record with Marvin Durant, and we talked about how women's knees and lower leg injuries are more susceptible to men's, and they were saying that hormones is a possible reason. They're going to start doing a study to do that. So when I saw, Juju, she was getting sandwiched by the two
the girls from Mississippi State. They were playing dirty that night.
So I don't know if they were playing dirty, but
they were playing dirty.
Well, if it was two guys, if it was a men's game, you would have just thought, okay, they were just, it was rough. But you can't say the same thing. I think women can get just as rough.
Oh no, they
can.
Those games they be down there, down low, elbowing all. Like if you were to watch the game, because there's a tournament game versus Mississippi State at USC, and those girls came out like they weren't going to out athlete USC. So just like sometimes you got to muddy up a game sometimes, and that's what they were doing. I'm not mad at it, but I just hate that it came at the expense of such a great player getting hurt.
Because I would have really liked to seen how far USC could have gone.
Yeah.
And they virtually stopped.
Well, they won that night, but
they did, but
they ran into a buzzsaw the next, I think they beat Kansas State next, but then after that they had to
barely beat Kansas State. I really thought Kansas State had a shot at making it to the Elite Eight.
I don't think nobody was going to beat UConn this past year, though. UConn looked amazing this past year.
They did, and South Carolina was trying to go back to back, and they didn't
look. They had too much talent, if that makes sense. There's too many people on that team as far as they didn't look like the South Carolina that I noticed the last 2-3 years.
Right, and they really struggled, and then they almost started becoming thugs when they when they felt like they were starting to lose it and everything.
And that's another reason we watch women's basketball. they be into it, women's basketball now,
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, I truly enjoy it. Now, saying that with Caitlin Clark injured, has the WNBA kind of dropped a little bit? Because I know that when Michael Jordan injured his I believe it was his ankle in '85. It was his rookie year, and he missed the majority of the season. People were wanting to watch him, and then he wasn't playing. He was out for the rest of the year. Fans kind of weaned off, but the NBA was totally different because they were starting to watch it. They still had Magic and Bird there. But with Caitlin Clark, she has been the new face of the WNBA. And I know the older players, the experienced players were all upset about her. But
last year was a historic year for the WNBA. Like, I'm a casual when it comes to that. Don't get me wrong. I'm completely casual with women's basketball. I'm not super hardcore about it. But somebody like myself was like, let's watch the WNBA. Let's watch those games. Because of someone like Caitlin Clark. She brought a level of excitement to the game that we haven't seen around the WNBA since the first year it came out with Cheryl Swoops and all them. Yeah. And so I never understood, you're breaking attendance records, ticket sale records, as far as viewership records, things like that. There's more eyes on the league now than it ever has been before. And even if you were a member of that league, why would you be mad? You should be glad that somebody's finally seeing it. And so now, because of Caitlin Clark, we're noticing the other players like, okay, some of these girls can really ball. And it just comes off as people just being haters.
Yeah. And that's a sad thing, because all the Caitlin Clark fans, they're people that really don't know basketball, but all of a sudden they see a rough play. And, I never had an issue with Angel Reese or anybody else being rough with her or anybody else. But those people, they were like, oh, my God, they cannot do that. And it's just like, and it just shows, and it's good that you're bringing in more people, but if they are ignorant, then, you need to sit down and just shut up.
Well, it's like with anything, you're going to have the casuals, and the casuals are going to, everybody has an opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. But and it has an opinion ever stopped any of these games from happening or anything like that? Anybody who knows basketball, especially on that particular play where Caitlin fouled Angel Reese kind of hard, that's just a standard basketball play. That's going to happen at any level, all the way down from AAU all the way up. So if you know the game, nothing wrong happened there.
Right.
That happens, but people, we live in that our society's different.
Absolutely. So we are at the end of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. Dimitri Colbert, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
And we had a great show. It was awesome. And happy birthday to you. So happy birthday to Mr. Colbert. And I want to shout out to my father, who passed away last year. Yesterday was his birthday. And I just want to say that I still love you very much, and you are an amazing man, and I miss you very much. And so with that, with Coach 24, Darwin Penny, my brother with another mother, DJ Scatter, running the show, Mr. George Walker, and I am Brian Kress, the Awesome Voice. Be awesome, not angry, and you guys have yourself a phenomenal football weekend.